So I really liked how that House of Gucci review turned out. And since I kind of covered Licorice Pizza and Nightmare Alley a little bit, I touched on them. But I didn't like really dive into them. But I touched on them. I decided, I'm gonna make this a regular feature for the channel. Nothing super fancy, just this kind of setup with my phone, and just talking about when I see a new movie. And I realized how much headspace I gave myself because I'm not sitting in a desk chair this time. I'm just sitting in a camping chair because I don't have to haul a desk chair out to do this setup. There's a lot of headspace, but that's fine. You can see my cool posters for my top 10, except Kind of Noises Off and Bad Times, because that's what I'm blocking. But anyways, so there are two movies I didn't cover that I saw this year, and they are actually the two new movies of 2022. They both released last weekend, last Friday, and I saw two of them. So I figured I'd do those, and then from here on out, I'll try to do a review for each new movie I see, whether it is through a streaming platform or if I'm going to sit in a lovely theater and sit back and relax and enjoy. So if you want to hear me talk about movies from last year, my top 10 favorite and worst are up, and you go back a little ways, you can see the first 10 movies. We talk about the first 10 movies I saw in theaters and the first 8 movies I watched from streaming. Those are out, so I'm not going to worry about covering going back in time, just going forward. So I'm going to get to the movies. I've already killed 2 minutes of this video, and I'm hoping to keep these kind of short, even though I'm about to do 2 movies, which sometimes might happen. I am prone to seeing multiple movies at a time. Nightmare Alley and Licorice Pizza I saw on the same day. So I am prone to do that. So today I'm going to talk about in the order I saw them. First off is Scream 2022. That is the Scream 5. That is the 5th movie in the Scream franchise. I went and saw that the Thursday night of its opening, so it would have been its preview showings, I think is what they call them. But anyways, it opened on last Friday, and I saw it the night before on Thursday. And I liked it. I like the Scream franchise. I do. I really do. I enjoy the first movie. The second movie's really good. I don't know what. There's a review. I have a review of the first 4 Scream movies on this channel. Go check that out. Go watch that. And I'm not gonna. I genuinely like the Scream series, and the TV show. I actually do like the first 2 seasons of the TV show. Never watched the 3rd season. I watched 1 episode, and I just didn't grab me. And it even has the Ghostface mask, and it just didn't grab me. Nothing about it made me go, man, I want to watch more of this. But I went and saw Scream 5. And again, spoilers, I'm not going to try to watch myself when I'm talking about these movies, just because I just don't want to. I don't want to try to watch my language as I'm talking. But anyways, Scream 5, it takes place 20 years, more than 20 years after the events of the first movie, 11 years after the events of the 4th movie, and it is supposed to be kind of like the requel, like what they did with Halloween, and they're doing with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and they've done it with some other horror franchises as well, where it is a continuation, or not even just horror franchises. Ghostbusters Afterlife is a requel, where it's a continuation of the story, that's both a continuation of the story, and it's trying to be its own movie at the same time. It wants to reset while continuing, which I think works. I think that idea can work. It's just the property has to be old enough. I thought Halloween 2018, which I actually just rewatched pretty recently, that one and Halloween Kills, I think those worked pretty well. I think Ghostbusters Afterlife works really well. So this is an idea that can work. My problem with Scream is it's a horror film, and Halloween was a horror film, but it got the legacy character of Laurie Strode out there right away. It gave you a lot of people die and you don't care about them, but they made sure you cared about a couple of them. And Scream 2022, you care about one character this entire movie, of the ones who die. You care about one character, and that is the main spoiler of this movie. So really, if you don't want a spoiler, stop watching this video right now. But Dewey Riley, played by David Arquette, his character finally dies. They've been trying to kill this character since the first movie. The original draft of that script, he dies. I think he was originally supposed to die in Scream 2. I think they considered killing him off in Scream 4. They finally did it. They finally killed him. And that one had weight, but he's a legacy character. You know, you've watched 4 movies with Dewey, so that one hit you. The rest of them, like the first actual kill, is a guy who's in 2 scenes and has, I don't know, maybe 2 lines of dialogue. Like, it's really weird. Like, it recreates the opening of Scream, but that person doesn't die. They let that person live because of motive. Like, it's part of the Ghostface killer's motives. That they let that person live, but they just really injure them. Like, they break their leg, and they stab him a bunch of times. But they let him live. Which is weird. Like, why? Why are you letting them? Just kill him. That's what Ghostface does. I'm going to be real scatterbrained on these movies, but it's the worst Ghostface. Like, these are the worst Ghostfaces in all these movies because they do a lot of attacks. They attack a lot of people and kill very few of them. Like, the killings are brutal. The deaths are kind of brutal, and that's fun, but they're really bad. They're really bad at actually executing and murdering people. Yeah, they're just horrible. Horrible. Like, I'm sorry, everyone, bitches about Scream 3, which isn't it's a bad movie. It's a fun bad movie, but it's still a bad movie. But at least Roman Bridger, the ghost face of that movie, killed everyone he attempted to kill. This one, they are hit or miss on if they kill everyone they're attempting to kill. I'm pretty sure the third act Bloodbath is a third act body. I think they successfully kill one person in the third act. They attack a bunch of people, but the only dead people, there's one dead person and then the 2 ghost faces, and that's it. I kept hoping Matthew Lillard was going to come back as his character. Skeet Ulrich is brought back as a ghost haunting one of the characters because you find out he had a daughter with a different girl from the high school. That's Sydney, his girlfriend. Someone he had either cheated on Sydney with, or before he started dating Sydney, he fathered a daughter. And this daughter sees visions of Billy Loomis, and it is Skeet Ulrich, de-aged, looking like he did at the end of Scream, which is a weird thing, because as much as I get it, it's how he died, but she would have only known what he looks like from pictures. And I doubt there were a ton of pictures taken of his dead body. So it's a weird, like, it worked, like, it's fine. I didn't even question it until right this second when I was talking about it. But yeah, it was weird that he had the stab wounds, and all the markings from him and Stu, trying to do their thing, but that's not the photo she would have seen. She would have seen, like, a high school yearbook photo or something like that. So yeah, so she's the daughter of Billy Loomis, and that's the crux. They want to bring. She doesn't live in Woodsboro anymore, and the killers want to bring her home, so they attack her half sister. That brings her home, and they're trying to figure it out. And I love the fact that Dewey, who's been through 4 of these movies, immediately calls it. Like, his first statement on who the killer might be, and he's 1/2 correct. Like, of the 2 killers, he totally nails it right away. Like, oh yeah, this person's the killer. This person's probably going to be the killer, because it's always one of these people. You're like, and then you find out he's right. It's like, oh yeah, makes sense. Four times he survived this. Yeah, he knows who's the killer. He could figure it out because you see it enough, and you could, like, I picked it out right away. I agreed with Dewey that his statement was probably accurate, and I picked out the second killer, just because nobody else made it look a sense to be the second killer. Not that the second killer made sense either, because they pulled a playbook from Scream 2 on the killers. But yeah, I liked it. It was a fine movie. Yeah, the third act Bloodbath, they try to kill Sydney. They try to kill Courtney Cox's Gail Weathers. They try to kill Billy Loomis's daughter, the sister, And Randy Meeks from the first movie, played by Jamie Kennedy, his sister has a pair of twins, both of whom also get attacked. 7 people get attacked in the third act bloodbath. One of them dies. The rest are still alive at the close of this movie. Again, these are the least efficient killers. Because in total, like, of actual, like, victims, they kill somebody who's related to Stu, which I think is they just should have said Matthew Lillard survived, has been in prison, and is somehow... I loved that idea when I heard that pitch for the original Scream 3 script, and I think they should still bring it back. I love Matthew Lillard. He's a great actor. But yeah, someone related to Stu dies. They kill the deputy from Scream 4 who survives, played by Marley Shelton. Deputy Hicks. Well, no, she's the sheriff, so she's Sheriff Hicks. So they kill her. They kill her son, who's named after Wes Craven, and they kill him. Probably because the end party is dedicated to... It's in honor of Wes. It's like, Wes Craven, he's dead. The dead guy's named Wes. I get it. They kill Dewey, and then they kill one person at the party. And there's some other, like, side deaths. Like, they kill a cop. You see a cop's dead body and this and that, but 5 people. They successfully ghost face five people. And again, there's some other, like, off deaths. Like, again, there's a cop. I think it's an 8 total, and I got 6. I can't remember who's 7. 7 and 8 would be the 2 killers. So yeah, so 5. That's rookie numbers at this point. When I get it, it's the requel, so it's supposed to be like the original. But even in the original, they get the 2 in the beginning. Steve and Casey. They get Steve and Casey. And I haven't watched Scream in a while. They get Steve and Casey in the beginning. They get the principal, played by Henry Winkler. They ice Rose McGowan, Tatum, in the garage. They get the cameraman, whose name... I don't have the cameraman's name, which is sad because he's a great role. He is a great role. He gets killed, and I think that's it. I think they only have 5, so they did the same. They did the same number of kills, but that was the first movie. And again, Dewey was supposed to die, and yeah, Dewey was supposed to die. So they're supposed to actually have 6, but they ended up only with 5. So yeah, so it's the same numbers as the first one, which is fine. It's a fine, like, number. I'm really, like, racking my brain if there was another person in the third act bloodbath who gets iced, but I don't think so. I don't think there is. I don't think there is another kill in the rest of the film, other than obviously Billy and Stu. So I guess the same, but it's just because they attack so many times. Ghostface attacks. It has 2 different attacks in the hospital, and both of them, technically, they get Dewey in the second attack, but that's only because he goes back. If Dewey had just left and not decided to go back to try to finish off Ghostface, Dewey would have survived. But that's how you die. You make a decision, and you get murdered, death killed. But yeah, so it's fine. I liked it. I like Scream 5. I'll watch it, when I'm marathoning the Scream movies, and I'll be happy with it. I felt like they did not build the teen characters. Because like I said, I called the second killer real quick, just because they use a cloned phone, which is a concept from some of the other Scream movies, that you can clone a phone. Because you can clone a cell phone. But they clone a phone, and it's just weird because there has to be 2 killers because they have video of one of the girl who they say, well, if you don't play our game, we're going to kill her. And then one is actually attacking. So there has to be at least 2 killers, but then they really state one person definitely wasn't there, which just meant it had to be the person whose phone was cloned. Has to be the second killer, who also, oddly enough, was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, as the character who gets flamethrowered by Leonardo DiCaprio, and she ends up getting lit on fire in this movie too. So apparently that's her thing. She is the actress who gets lit on fire. All right, moving away from Scream, 2022. The other movie I watched from this year already is Hotel Transylvania 4, Transformania, I think is what. It's a horrible movie. I love Hotel Transylvania. I already watched Hotel Transylvania, the original, because I was so disappointed in Hotel Transformania. I was so disappointed in that movie. I went back and I rewatched the original, and it was just still a great movie. But this fourth one is it looks like a direct to video animated movie. Like, this is supposed to be in theaters, but it looks like it was meant to like lead into a TV show. Like, this is the movie you watch, and then you get like the old Disney standard of their direct to video movies would then become the TV show, or they would release a long episode of the TV show as a way to entice you into watching the TV show. And that's what it looked like. The plot made no sense because it went back to the Dracula and Johnny. Dracula doesn't like Johnny and doesn't want to be part of the family, but that was already freaking, that plot line is the first movie, and by the end of it, they're okay with each other. You get, so you have that, and that's just bad. I didn't care for it. I thought that was a bad plot line. I thought these... The fact that Adam Sandler and Kevin James aren't in it, voicing Dracula and Frankenstein, is noticeable, and it's just not the same. It's not the same, like, energy. You don't get the same energy from either of them as, the new voice actors don't have the same energy, and it just sounds weird, hearing other people trying to imitate those voices. It's funny, I saw Scream last Thursday, I watched Hotel Transylvania 4 last Friday, and I can remember the Scream movie I remember it way better than the movie I watched sooner. But basically, Johnny is told, Drac wants to retire, leave the hotel to Mavis and Johnny, because Johnny is Mavis's husband. But when he finds out that Johnny might want to make some changes to the hotel, Dracula freaks out and tells him, well, I can't leave Mavis the hotel because you can't have the hotel, because only monsters can own the hotel. There's a real estate law. It's not even funny, but it's a real estate law. And so Johnny goes and sees Van Helsing, which I forgot all about any of the events of Hotel Transylvania 3. So I forgot Dracula has a girlfriend. Van Helsing lives at the hotel now. I forgot all about that because I saw Hotel Transylvania 3 once in theaters, and that's it. So I forgot all about that crap. But anyways, he goes and for some reason, Van Helsing has a ray that can turn people into monsters and turn monsters into humans, which I guess makes sense that he'd turn monsters into humans, but I don't get why he would want to do the other thing. So he shoots Johnny, and Johnny turns into a monster, and as Drac is trying to turn Johnny back, because Mavis has already told him, because this is a poorly written script, that she loves Johnny the way he is, and that she wouldn't change anything about him ever, he needs to fix this before his daughter finds out, because again, we're playing premises from the first movie. We're just playing that premise, and I think that premise is in all the movies, which just fucking let the premise die already. Let it die. Do something else. Stop having Drac hide things from his daughter. This is supposed to be the final movie, but whatever. There might be a TV show. So, he ends up getting shot with the ray and turning human, and somehow the ray infects an ice sculpture that's melting, which is what turns the Invisible Man, the Mummy, the Wolfman, and Frankenstein into humans as well. That made no flippin' sense whatsoever when I was sitting there watching it. This was just off of Amazon Prime. It's like I paid to go see it. But yeah, it made no sense, but that's what they chose to do, and that's what they did. So Drac and Johnny go on an adventure to find a new crystal, because the crystal breaks because it has to. And this is where, I hate the plot of this movie, because I was fine with the concept of Johnny becoming a monster and Drac being human, and them having to live in this world and see each other's worlds from the other one's perspective. I liked that idea. I liked that concept. It was a fine concept. And it could have easily been achieved just by having the crystal need to recharge. It can't turn anyone back to normal for 48 hours because it has to recharge. And then we could have saw shenanigans in the hotel. Instead, they decide the crystal is broken and they have to go on an adventure to get a new crystal, which is just a stupid plot. I don't care about this adventure. I just want to see the comedy of Drac being human and Johnny being a monster. I just want to see that comedy. I want to see that relationship. I don't want to see them go on a fucking adventure to get a crystal. And you find out that apparently the Ray has no. Blobby also gets not turned into a human because apparently, um, you can't, you can't. Blobby can't. Blobby turns into a Jello mold by the ray that turns monsters into monsters and humans and it turns humans into monsters and monsters to humans. Why the fuck wasn't he turned into a human? I don't know. It also shoots the big ass dog at one point that I also forgot that Johnny and Mavis's kid got, and it turns into a normal dog. I accepted that one a little more because that's a dog, but then it gets changed back right away. But yeah, Blobby turns into a Jello mold. It's just weird. It's just weird. Like, why? Why is he a Jello mold? The funniest bit of this movie, the funniest scene of this movie, though, is when one of the zombie waitstaff gets shot and he turns back into a human and he's super happy because he's alive again. And then one of the other zombies walks up and bites him and he just turns back into a zombie. Best joke of the entire movie, hands down. That is the best like setup visual joke of this movie is the waiter being turned human and then immediately being bit and becoming a zombie again. I loved it. I loved it. That part. It's not my favorite line of the movie. It's my favorite scene. We'll get to my favorite line. So Drac and Johnny go on their adventure, and you find out that the monster ray has a weird effect that it continues to turn the monsters into more bigger monsters, badder monsters. Like Johnny's becoming a bigger and a worse monster, but Drac is still the same level of human he was. Like the human, nothing happens. If you turn them human, they're fine. They're absolutely fine. Nothing happens to them. But Johnny turns into a bigger monster, and I have a problem with the Invisible Man when he becomes visible, only because like he looks exactly like you expect him to look, and that's I didn't like that because give me the surprise, man. Make him look like you expect him to look like a fat dumpy guy because he's got David Spade's voice. Make him buff. Make him like super attractive. Give me that over he looks like a nerdy balding man. Not to mention that when I rewatched the first one, he doesn't like he's surprised he's bald, but you watch in the first one, he like has a comb and he's primping his hair. He's combing his hair. Like he can feel it. Other people could touch it and feel his hair. And he didn't know he was bald. Logic. It defeats these movies. Also the fact that he somehow lives to be that like he's just a human. He's just a human who's invisible. But somehow he is just as old as the Wolfman and Frank as whatever. That's a I could just rip a movie apart if I tried to use logic on them, which is a series I'm considering doing, but I need a co-host for that one. That would need to be a 2-person job to talk about good movies and then point out their shitty logic. But I've digressed. Anyways, eventually Mavis finds out, because Mavis has to find out, and then her and Van Helsing's great-granddaughter go off with the other humanoid monsters to help Drac and Johnny before Johnny turns too much into a monster. Johnny turns into a giant-ass monster, and they're all in a cave trying to get the other stone and turn Johnny back human. And they have a nice moment talking about marshmallows, and if you burn a marshmallow, that's fine, because you get a nice creamy center inside the marshmallow, and it was kind of sweet. It should have happened way earlier in this movie, because it happened like 15 minutes before it pays off, which is just bad writing again. This should have happened way earlier. So you have to go, oh yeah, I remember that scene. Not, oh, I just literally saw the setup for this. Anyways, Drac gets Johnny to realize his humanity by saying, you know, Johnny is like a marshmallow, and he's got the gooey stuff. He's got this hard monster outside, but he's got the gooey insides. And the funniest line in this movie, though, goes to the werewolf when Drac pulls out a physical marshmallow from his pocket, and he just goes, he had a marshmallow all this time? Like, it was my favorite line. It was the best delivery. Steve Buscemi's great delivery of it, and it was really funny. It was a really funny line, delivery. It was just a surprise because even me, and I was watching it with one of my friends who's yet to appear on this channel, and we both thought, like, we seconds before he said the line, we said, "Why does he have a marshmallow on him?" And then Steve Buscemi just says it. I'm like, "Well, that's good writing. That's a good comedy. That's what I want to see in a Hotel Transylvania movie." Anyways, Johnny gets turned back to normal. They go back and you find out the test animal for the ray has destroyed the hotel, and Drac just quickly defeats it because why not? And Drac lets Johnny and Mavis rebuild the hotel, and it looks almost exactly the same. Yay, movie! It's bad. Watch Scream 2022. Don't watch Hotel Transylvania Transformania. It's bad. It's a waste of an hour and a half of your life. Go watch the first one. If you really want to watch more Hotel Transylvania, there's the second and the third one. They're both fine. I haven't watched them in a while, but I remember not hating them. I hate this movie. As of right now, for 2022 movies, Scream 2022 is my favorite movie of this year because I've only seen 2 movies that have came out this year, because Nightmare Alley, Licorice Pizza, and House of Gucci all technically count as 2021 movies. Yeah. And Nightmare Alley might be actually the only one I'd put above Scream anyways. And Hotel Transylvania Transformania is the fucking worst movie I've seen this year. And it's not even like there's only been 2 movies, therefore it's a low standing bar. No, it's just the worst movie I've seen this year. And it's probably going to hold that spot for a while. I hope you liked this review. Like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. Like I said, I'll be doing these in this less formal style as I see new movies. Just something I want to do. Like I said, I might be dropping more commentary tracks at some point. I'd actually have to sit down and with people and film them, but hopefully this year I'll drop some more commentary tracks. Like I said, I've got my normal videos, and I really do like the idea of sitting down with someone and talking about the logic of movies, and taking really good movies, rewatching them and going, okay, let's look at the logical problems here, and where, let's try to tear these movies apart, as though they were horrible movies. So that might happen too this year. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyways, I'm Martin Prevost. This is Rank the Movies. Thank you for watching. Check out my top 10 of 2021 that dropped this week. Next week, I'm talking about my favorite TV show of all time. I'm going to do a top 10 listing of my top 10 favorite episodes, and that is Community. So join me as I take a trip down memory lane at Greendale Community College. All right, have a good one, and I will see you next time, and I hope you don't think it's too awkward when I reach up to turn off this recording. All right, have a good one.